The Stonewall Inn on Christopher Street is expanding its Wall of Honor as part of Pride Month. The Stonewall is where gay patrons staged an uprising in 1969 after a police raid. The Wall of Honor is in honor of the LGBTQ struggle, which began with 50 names in 2019. And it's sponsored by the Imperial Court Social and Charitable Organization and the National LGBTQ Task Force.
Task Force Representative Cathy Renna joining us now to tell us about today's event. Cathy, thank you so much for being here. 5 people being added to that Wall of Honor today. How did you choose?
Well, it's challenging. I mean, I think the key is really adding icons and trailblazers in the movement, those who've made contributions. And, you know, as you said, we started this in 2019. We added 50 names in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. And every year we're going to continue adding 5 diverse names of those who really made a difference for our community and blazed a trail.
Yeah, so take us through the honorees. Let's start with musical icon Stephen Sondheim.
Well, I don't think Stephen Sondheim needs much of an introduction in New York, but he is was an extraordinary talent, openly gay composer, lyricist. He died in November of last year at the age of 91. We probably know him best for things like West Side Story, Gypsy, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. And, you know, his voice was so important both in the Broadway community, but also in the LGBTQ community, as he was out and proud and just a true role model and pioneer.
It's so important to have a diversity of role models to look towards. We also want to talk about author and attorney Urvashi Vad. Tell us about her.
Well, this is a hard one. This one's really personal. Urvashi was a longtime friend, colleague, mentor. She was actually the executive director of the National LGBTQ Task Force in the early 90s. She was, again, a trailblazing, incredibly forward-thinking. I always say, you know, she wasn't ahead of the curve. She was the curve. She was someone who pushed our community to do our work in a more diverse, intersectional way, and was unafraid of nothing. You know, she stood up at a Republican convention, all 5'2" of her, with a big sign that said, "Talk is cheap, AIDS funding is not." When we had a president in office and a government that was not paying attention to the thousands of people we were losing to HIV. So, you know, she's worked on issues from, you know, anti-war to LGBTQ, civil rights, HIV, racial equity, just an extraordinary role model for so many of us.
Yeah, and one name that might not be familiar to many is Ambassador James Hormel.
Sure. Well, the name Hormel might be familiar, but James's contributions maybe not so much. He was an extraordinary philanthropist in San Francisco. He was also the first openly LGBTQ person to represent the United States as an ambassador. You know, he passed away last August at 88. He was the ambassador to Luxembourg. He was appointed by President Clinton. So that was you know, he has contributed behind the scenes in so many ways, and then also very publicly as an ambassador.
You know, we've had so many people that have had decades of sort of changing the game when it came to LGBTQ rights. And then there's Tyler Clementi. He's the 18-year-old that we all know as the Rutgers student who ended his life jumping off the George Washington Bridge. At the time, we were told it was in response to anti-gay bullying. Talk about why you've chosen to honor him and put his name up there for all of us to look at.
Well, you know, it's important because I think we need to acknowledge the issues that we deal with. And you know, Tyler's story brought so much attention to the issue of bullying, and particularly cyberbullying, and his parents and his family have carried on this work through the Tyler Clementi Foundation. We are so thrilled that Jane Clementi, his mom, will be attending the event today and will speak about him. I've known the Clementis, you know, since this happened. And so, you know, the way that they have tried to get folks to not just be bystanders and just watch bullying happen in schools, online, etc. They urge allies, especially, to be upstanders. Yeah. And they've gotten so many families and allies involved in the community. It's an impact that, you know, came out because of not just what happened to him, but because of the work of his family afterwards.
Yeah, and such an important message to send out there. We also want to mention, before we let you go, that writer and reporter Dolores Alexander will also be honored on that wall as well. But Cathy, thank you again for all of your time. Cathy Renna of the National LGBTQ Task Force. We appreciate you coming on board this morning to share all the honorees.
Thank you so much.
All right.